Now on CoastTV News.
Council change coming. The new way people living in Selbyville will have representation in its local government. Boardwalk building battle after plans received initial approval earlier this month. The next step for the Belhaven Hotel project in Rehoboth Beach takes place today.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. In a last-minute push on marijuana zoning legislation, the Delaware House passed Senate Bill 75. The bill would limit the restrictions that counties can impose on marijuana businesses. It would also make it easier for medical dispensaries to sell recreationally. The bill's sponsor has said strict zoning in Sussex County specifically has been a big roadblock for these businesses, although people opposing that bill call it government overreach.
The one-party rule, no matter what party it is, I think you get away from listening to local voices just by the nature of that happening.
You know, once the recreational cannabis stores are open, you're going to have less than 40 across the entire state. So it's just a little unreasonable what Sussex County has done, and again, they've made it illegal.
Senate Bill 75 now heads to Governor Matt Meyer's desk for approval. Delaware lawmakers want to crack down on repeat drunk drivers. The Delaware House of Representatives unanimously passed House Joint Resolution 4. According to officials, the resolution, sponsored by State Representative Jeff Holofsky and State Senator Brian Pettyjohn, would establish a driving under the influence prevention task force. The measure comes amid growing concern from public and lawmakers over individuals arrested multiple times for DUI. House Joint Resolution 4 now moves to the Senate for consideration. Happening today, the next step in the construction of a hotel right on the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk. This afternoon, a public hearing is taking place for the Belhaven project. Earlier this month, the Planning Commission voted 5-3 to move the hotel forward to this stage. Plans for the Belhaven call for 105 rooms, 78 garage spaces, and 29 parking lots. Today's public hearing will take place at 1:30 at the Rehoboth Beach City Hall. And we're now going to take a live look outside at Dover, and our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trahey, is going to be joining us. Bob, I have not been outside in a couple of hours because of work, but I already know it is a lot warmer out there than when I was last out. We could tell by the sun in that camera.
Absolutely, Elisa. It's one last day of stifling heat and humidity. Then we get a break into Friday, but we're looking at temperatures already low to mid 90s, inland areas 94 Redden, 90 in Millsboro, Georgetown at 92, the same for Salisbury. A little cooler at the beaches, low 80s from Lewis to Ocean City. Dew point temperatures once again on the oppressive side in the low to mid 70s. So feels like temperatures in the triple digits for mostly inland areas. 106 is what it feels like in Redden, 107 in Seaford. So stay hydrated this afternoon. And because of those high heat indices, a heat advisory, interior Sussex County, and the same for Comical and into Worcester counties as well, with those high heat index values, and the same for the eastern shore. As we're looking at clear skies right now, that'll be the case next couple of hours. Then we're watching a back to our cold front. That could be the focus for some showers and storms as we go into the afternoon, suppressing this heat dome to the south as we go through the overnight. So mid 90s, I think, as we go into the early afternoon, then showers and storms popping up, maybe some heavy rain and damaging winds, and it'll cool us down into the 80s as we go into the evening hours. But before the storms, feeling like 105 to about 110. So use extreme caution. Then we'll see those storms popping up this afternoon. Then we finally cool down a little bit Friday before the summer heat returns for the weekend with some showers and storms. Much more in your forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And sticking with the weather over in Lewis, the city has been dealing with reoccurring power outages this week. One location hit the Lewis Public Library. They, of course, use the internet to keep track of incoming and outgoing rentals, but the library also serves as an unofficial cooling center for the city. Officials there say they got lucky with the timing of those outages.
We lost power total of 3 times like the rest of Lewis. So if it had happened earlier in the day, we definitely would have had to close and have people leave. We were able, because it was so close to closing time, it wasn't so bad, but it got very, very warm.
And the president of the Lewis BPW, Tom Panetta, says this is a regional problem with the grid provider for the area. People should try to conserve electricity. And officials are reminding locals they can cool off at the Dorchester County Public Libraries. Libraries are open during the hottest hours of the day and service cooling centers. The Cambridge branch is open Monday through Friday and on Saturdays. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company says it assisted the Rehoboth Beach Fire Company with a marine fire in the West Bay Park Marina after reports of multiple boats on fire on Wednesday. On your screen right now are images from that scene. Officials believe 2 pontoon boats caught on fire while docked, and the Delaware State Fire Marshal is currently investigating that cause. There is a new structure to Selbyville's government. Governor Matt Myers signed into law these changes, dividing Selbyville into 4 election districts with nearly equal population, with 1 representative from each district serving on town council. Selbyville municipal elections are held each year on the first Saturday in March. President Trump is back at the White House this morning with news that the U.S. will meet with Iran next week. The president is pushing back on questions about the success of those strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. With the CIA backing the claims that Iran's program was severely damaged, NBC's Alice Barr shows us how today lawmakers will have an opportunity to ask questions at a briefing from White House officials.
President Trump back in Washington after the NATO summit, looking to extend a diplomatic win with the Israel-Iran ceasefire into talks with Iran.
We're going to talk to them next week with Iran. We may sign an agreement. I don't know.
The president downplaying the necessity of signing a deal, insisting U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites already accomplished the goal of preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon.
I said, Iran will not have nuclear. Well, we blew it up. It's blown up to kingdom come.
He's pushing back forcefully on a preliminary assessment by the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency estimating Iran's nuclear program was delayed by a matter of months.
They presented a report that wasn't finished.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess.
Defense Secretary Hegseth said the agency had low confidence in its initial assessment. President Trump citing Israeli intelligence that the strikes set Iran's nuclear capabilities back by many years and rendered the critical underground Fordo site inoperable. Iran also acknowledging its nuclear installations were badly damaged. And the CIA director now says credible intelligence indicates Iran's nuclear program was severely damaged and would take years to rebuild. 2 sources say he is among the top Trump officials set to brief senators today who have been pressing for answers.
Do we know whether the uranium was there? Do we know whether the centrifuges were there? What is the state of those facilities?
House members due to be briefed tomorrow. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up, promoting crosswalk safety with chickens. Yes, you heard that right. How the Fenwick Island Police Department is getting drivers' attention.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, according to the Fenwick Police, it is to get people to hit the brakes for pedestrians. And that's no laughing matter. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us in this week's Coastal Connections how a funny costume is promoting safety.
The Fenwick Island Police Department does everything they can to keep the community safe. Whether that's patrolling the streets in their car, watching over the beach, or wearing a chicken costume.
We at the Fenwick Island Police Department are serious about crosswalk safety.
To spread awareness to keeping your eyes on the road and pressing the crosswalk button, Fenwick Island Police Chief Michael Morrissey took it upon himself to hop in the chicken suit and cross the road.
We're kind of trying to use a little humor to get the message across that don't play chicken in the crosswalks, either as the driver of a vehicle or a pedestrian crossing.
With some cars still not following the crosswalk rules, the police department brought backup, a familiar police figure on TV. They walked across the street together in hopes of sending a message to stop for pedestrians, especially as the busy season gets underway.
Double and triple our crossings, so you're going to see more people out crossing the highway trying to enjoy our beaches and our bays.
Although Chase may be waving goodbye to all the cars in town, that's not the last you'll see of Chief Morrissey and the police department suiting up for duty.
Now, the Fenwick Island Police Department is planning to do this again, but next time they're going to be wearing the Grinch and Santa costumes for Christmas in July. I'm Kevin Zappe in Fenwick Island, Coast TV News.
We're just about to the finish line with this intense heat and humidity. About 8 more hours and things will cool down, but boy, it's hot again. 92 in Salisbury, hazy conditions on the Spicer Brothers cam, and we're going to be into the mid-90s, I think, as we go into the afternoon, feeling hotter with the humidity, as it is the last day of the heat wave, at times feeling like 105 and maybe even hotter. We are watching for afternoon gusty storms, and then Friday, much cooler, still humid, but we're looking at a backdoor cold front that will cool us off a little bit. In fact, maybe 20 degrees cooler than we've seen, and a spotty storm is still possible. And because of that threat for higher heat index values, a heat advisory for Sussex County. So Ellendale, Laurel, Delmar, and Millsboro, make sure you stay hydrated. We do not see that heat warning along the coast, a heat advisory, I should say, because you're going to be a little cooler. But then interior parts of Comical and back to Worcester County, we also had that heat advisory through this evening, and the same for the eastern shore. And with those feels like temperatures into the triple digits. And we do have moderate air quality. So if you suffer from health problems or just don't want to be out in the heat, make sure you stay inside in filtered air because it's getting hot. Look at this, low to mid 90s inland areas. A little bit of relief at the coast, 83 Rehoboth, 84 in Bethany Beach. We still have that humidity as well. Dew points in the low to mid 70s. So that's sending those feels like temperatures into triple digits, as hot as 108 in Milton, 107 in Seaford, 102 in Millsboro, as we have mostly sunny skies, but we have changes on the way. We're watching a backdoor cold front making its way through southern Jersey right now, and I think right along this front we're going to see some showers and storms flaring up this afternoon. That's ahead of cooler air, and this front is suppressing this hot air dome, and that will continue to weaken and move off to the southwest with time as we have light winds. So that's not going to cool us down at all today, as we're into the mid-90s early this afternoon. Then about 2 p.m. we're going to start to see some showers popping up, maybe some brief heavy rain, and also some damaging winds are possible. By 4 o'clock, a lot of us cooling into the 80s where we see those showers and storms. So definitely some relief there. Otherwise warm this evening, but not as hot as it has been. And then we'll see an onshore wind, an easterly wind tonight. Still some lingering showers very late, and then lots of clouds tomorrow. And check this out. We're in the low 70s early on and then slowly climbing through the 70s, maybe not getting out of the 70s with a stray shower, maybe 80 well inland, but welcome relief on the way for tomorrow, but not today. Feeling as hot as about 106 as we go into the afternoon hours. Much better Friday afternoon, but then right back to the triple digit heat indices as we go into Saturday. We do have a marginal or low risk of seeing some damaging winds and some hail with those storms this afternoon, so keep that in mind. And very humid to miserable the next several days, so really no break from the humidity as we head into the weekend. Afternoon showers and storms. Once again, the threat would be heavy rain and also maybe some damaging winds, but mainly into the afternoon and evening hours. Your forecast for Harrington, 93, 89 in Lewis, 84 in Rehoboth. Watch for those dark skies and storms this afternoon. 93 in Denton, Vienna, 95, and then Salisbury, you're at 95, Berlin, 93, Ocean City, 89. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. There's our cool down Friday with a high of 80, hit and miss storms in a typical summer weekend, upper 80s to around 90, more storms, and then early next week, similar conditions, and then drying up by Wednesday at a high of 88.
Thank you, Bob. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Hope you're staying cool out there here along coastal Delmarva, but if you tune into Coast Life at 4, we've got some more fun for you. We're also going to be talking about how to pick the right contractor when it comes to making sure that your HVAC system is running how it should.
Always important there. Plus, we're going to be hanging out with the guys from Benvenuto talking food. I can't wait to see what they bring in.
Thursday is my new favorite day of the week because of our dish of the week. And we're also going to be taking a trip to Vernon Powell to see what's in style this summer. All that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you there.
Happening today, Bethany Beach is taking a closer look at how people get around town. E-bikes and scooters are on the agenda at the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee meeting, with an update from task meetings, along with strategies for safer bicycle and pedestrian shared paths. Coming up, Independence Day across Delmarva, we have some places to celebrate that holiday, including where you can see those fireworks. The health of Delaware hospitals is on full display. The state's Healthcare Association released its Delaware Hospitals Impact Report. It shows that hospitals are the largest private sector employer in the state. More than 10% of the state's total employment comes from hospitals, according to the report. They also add $9 billion in services, and the report outlines emerging issues, which includes concerns over Medicaid cuts from the federal government. New in Millsboro, get ready for fireworks, food, and fun this weekend. The Greater Millsboro Chamber of Commerce is hosting its annual Stars and Stripes celebration on June 28th from 6 to 9:30 at the Millsboro Little League Fields. Organizers say the free event includes food trucks, vendors, a DJ, and fireworks to cap off the night. The rain date for this event is June 29th. Coming up tonight on DSN at 7:30, it's another episode of Into the Trenches. Then at 8, it's the Berlin Bathtub Races. And at 10 p.m., you can catch that same episode of Into the Trenches in case you missed it. And at 10:30, it's the final score. And on the DSN Plus app at 6, it's high school girls basketball, also high school boys soccer. And at 6:15, it's action from the Maryland Supreme Basketball League.
Being on or in the water is the place to be, looking very inviting on the FH Fair Cam in Cambridge. 91 headed for the mid-90s. It is the last day of the heat wave. Feels like temperatures this afternoon in the triple digits, but a cold front will trigger some showers and storms this afternoon, then cooling off into your Friday. George Rogers from Lewis is our umbrella winner today, courtesy of Coast TV and Paul Davis. I'll have your cooler 10-day forecast coming up next. It's the last day of the real hot weather for a while. Mid-90s this afternoon, then showers and storms does cool us into the 80s. Watch for heavy rain, maybe damaging winds as we go into the evening hours. And ahead of the storms, at times feeling like as hot as 109. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast cooling it down into Friday, 80 degrees. That's going to be wonderful. Maybe a stray shower or storm, then a typical summer weekend, upper 80s and lower 90s. That continues into next week. And as of now, looks like the 4th of July is looking dry and hot, a high around 90 degrees. We'll continue to fine-tune that as it gets closer.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.